Hi there, my name's Turab Nakfi, and this is my video diary for the Learning in Residence module for my course. I'll be talking about my experience whilst on placement with a business named Creative Front, and they are the noisy voice of the creative industry. Um, they like to call themselves that, and after my experience with them, I think they are pretty noisy. They work with all businesses in the creative industry, and they want to create a network where they all can communicate and launch events, which is something that Creative Front do very well. They do a lot of events, and that's something that I've always wanted to do. I've done it on a smaller scale, for example, doing talent shows at school, um, organizing events within the university, like charity dinners for the society that I work for. But I've always wanted to do it at a much larger scale. So obviously the work behind the scenes in order to launch the event, so all the paperwork, all the all the little details that make of the beautiful event, and that's something that I've always wanted to experience. So when I approached Bryn about Creative Front, I was confident that it was the right choice for me because they do events, and so I thought, yeah, why not give it a go? So I dropped them an email, and I'm there. I'm in the office. So Monday morning, I sat down with Claire, who was my supervisor, Claire Green, and she's the manager of the business. And we sat down for a good an hour and a half, and she was introducing me to all the tasks that I'll be doing whilst on placement. And she seemed like a very good person, one that is a workaholic, is driven, very motivated, and yeah. So we sat down for the hour and a half, an hour, and yeah, she described what I'll be doing whilst on placement, what types of roles are required, um, the weekly tasks that I need to do, and the project that I'll be working on, which I'll be talking about much later. Um, so yeah, I started, and the first task she gave me was to create a master sheet of all the login and passwords that they have for all the social media. So their Facebook page, the Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and various other websites. So I thought, cool. But it took me quite a while because it hadn't been updated from the previous internal work experience employee. So I had to update all of that, which took quite a while because Creative Front, they had a lot of they had um, a lot of social media websites that they're active with. So it did take quite a while. But after completion, I handed the document, and that was a good start. But then they introduced me to the Bible. Um, Even I was thinking, why it's called the Bible. And then I remember Claire saying, because it's the Holy Book of Creative Front, I was like, oh, wow, okay, let's handle it with care. So that had all, like, the documents in regards to um, the passwords for um, other other websites that I may need access to. It had all the coding. It had some. It had the admin page and the password in order to gain access to the website, which led me on to my next task. Claire said that every week I'll have to talk. Sorry, not talk. Go and visit the news page for creative industries within Cambridge and upload a news article related to that information that I gather onto the Creative Front website, and that was a weekly task I had to do. So every Monday I'd have to do that. That was something that I'd have to do first day after walking in. So I got on with that, and she gave me all the necessary information in order to gain access to the Creative Front website, and that's something I've always wanted to do, like see how a website's run and how you add material to it. So I was pretty I was looking forward to it, and it was quite easy. Like you just click a few buttons, type in the text, and you press insert, and then it's there. I thought it was quite difficult in regards to, like, I thought it would be all coding and, you know, just various other formulas. I thought it wasn't the case. So yeah, I can do that in the future, hopefully. Um, and then yeah, that page was called the CMS page. I don't know what it stands for, but that's a CMS page. So cool. So yeah, first day in summary was quite good. It was quite relaxed. She gave me an hour. She asked, my working hours are 9 to 5, but she gave me she allowed me to leave at 4 o'clock, and I thought fine. She was like, "It was your first day. You can settle in. Just, get used to the environment and stuff." And I thought, all right, cool. So yeah, first day was pretty good, and quite enjoyed myself. I was like, all right, cool. This might be something good. And then day two, it was quite different. I felt like I hardly had anything to do, to be honest, because the um, first session, as in like in the morning, I went into the Creative Front website, and I was trying to find more material to put onto their news section, which lasted me quite a while because there was a lot of news all of a sudden that morning. And after that, I put all the news that I found on an article, sorry, a document, and I gave that document to Claire for her to review and feedback to see if I was on the right track. And then afterwards, it was my lunch break, and I came back, and I just, I wasn't like, it wasn't like the first day where I had a load of tasks to do, and it's, it's probably my fault because I didn't ask for more. But still, I felt like I could, I don't know, it just felt weird not having anything to do. So I was just like I was still looking for more articles and just going onto the website and just not organizing, but just tidying a few things up. And there was one task that Kat um, gave me, who works in the office as well. She gave me this task where um, I have to find the Twitter accounts of all the guest speakers that will be speaking in in the event that they're launching. It's called Creative Front Futures, and there were like 15, 20 speakers, and some of them didn't even have Twitter, so I had to have some kind of social media profile of the guest. And okay, I was occupied with work, but she could have given it to someone else. I felt I wanted to do something more. I mean, that I could have done at home. I wanted to do something that I could not do at home, but do at the office, that kind of task. But I thought, fine, I'm not going to argue. So she gave me the task with the belief that I can do it, and I did do it. So once I gave that in, again, nothing to do. And I was at the time hoping that this wouldn't be like this for the whole placement, which led me on to the third day, which was better. I had to go around and advertise this event around the university, so I had to go around and put posters up. Um, I could have done that like after work, or like, why does it have to be done now? It took quite a while because obviously the university is so massive, and I had to put it in specific areas, and I had to ask permission before putting it on display. So to put it around the university, I had to go to the student union and get it stamped, which authorizes, um, which allows, the poster to be up in the first place, because it needs to be confirmed by it needs to have permission from the university in order to be up on display. And the other departments I had to talk to is art department, music, and some of them weren't even there, and I had to get it done. So I had to wait for them to finish meetings. It was quite a long task, and it's not meant to be like that. It's just posters. You just go around and stick them up, and that's something that anyone can do. I mean, why give it to me? Fair enough. I'm a work experience employee, but man. It's just no. I could have. This is not me, man. I wanted to do something more, but Claire gave me the task, and I thought, I have to do it. So I thought, fine. So the after that took me quite a while, and then after lunch, I came back, and Claire had already given me another task to do, and it was on my computer. She already was out for lunch, and I had to write about this event called Monomania, and I had to advertise it onto the Creative Front website. I thought, thank God, finally something good. So I got on with it, um, and obviously I was always making sure that I was on the right track, making sure I have all the information before I put it onto the website, like how much it costs to enter, the guests that are going to be speaking, the concept of the whole day, why it's being launched, what's the purpose of it, and how to raise awareness of it. So I had to put it on the Facebook, the Twitter accounts, and didn't take too long. And then I handed it in. It was done. Wasn't too fast, and that was my first week. It was quite. It was alright. The first day was really good. Second day, not so much, and then the third day, an improvement on the second day. Started my second week, and it was okay. It was quite good, in fact. Did a lot of work. First task I had to do was write 4 articles. 2 had to be about events in Cambridge within the creative industry, obviously, and 2 news articles. Typed them up and handed it to Claire. Waited for feedback, and once I received that feedback, I corrected it and then handed it back, which didn't take too long. She said, obviously, when you're writing for a business, it has to be within the house style of the business that you're working for. So, for example, a business like Coca-Cola write in a specific way, and it will be totally different to the way in which Creative Front, um, you know, release their text on whether it's a poster, a leaflet, a brochure, and website. So I had to make sure that I was speaking in the tone of creative voice, which I did in my second attempt, which I was pretty pleased of because I'm going to be there for 24 days, so I'll have to like adapt myself in terms of how they write. And I also had to Kat, as I mentioned before, works for Creative Front as well, and she gave me a task. So it goes to show that Claire wasn't the only one giving me tasks; it was Kat as well. She gave me the task of just double checking 4 different documents in terms of the grammar, punctuation, spelling, and it was like the poster thing all over again, to be honest. I mean, double checking doesn't take too long, but I wanted something different. But it was Kat, and she was giving me a task to do, so I thought, okay, might as well. And it was basically, I don't know what the leaflets were about. I was just like, obviously, just going through it and just making sure everything flowed. And um, that took a good an hour. It's quite shocking. I thought it would take like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but it took an hour. So once that was done, uh, Claire gave me another task. So Cat, and I was getting used to having a load of tasks, and it was good. It was good because I could then organize myself to time management, getting everything organized, what tasks to do, when, and yeah. So the second week, I was pretty busy in terms of the tasks that was allocated, and it was approaching towards the big event, Creative Front Futures. So I was getting more posters to hang up, and I had to double check this and that, and I had to give my own opinion about how the event should be run, and made some suggestions for finger food. I felt like I was part of the team, which was quite. It made me feel quite important, and that's something I hope to achieve over the course of the placement. My third week on placement, and this one I did a lot of work with. I'm very proud to say. Um, wrote an article for the Creative Front website in regards to Cambridge Style Week. It's basically like summarising what the week was about, who's going to be having fashion shows, and vice versa. The other task I had was to compile a list of 10 jobs that are available within Cambridgeshire in the creatives industry, and I had to post a tweet about each job to basically advertise it through Creative Front to people who are unemployed. And that took me all morning probably, and then after lunch I added more information on the previous task I was doing about the event called Monomania. This was after a meeting with Claire, just double checking what I've done. And then there was this other task that I had to do. It was about adding information about their previous projects, Creative Front's last 2 projects. That was Design Icons and Culture Hack East. Yeah, Culture Hack East. And this is just to basically go into more detail about what the event is about. So for next year, people will know more about it. And towards the end of the week, I had to tidy up the database on the system of Creative Front. This is just whether previous employees, interns, or people like myself, work experience, students, changing their information in regards to address, mobile number, various other criteria. And yeah, that was my 3rd week, and probably a week which was very, very productive. Obviously, I had to write more articles for the Creative Front website in regards to news and events, and obviously the tasks that I've talked about. So 3rd week, I was very, very happy with, and I'm glad to say that I managed to carry it out efficiently and to my best ability, according to Kat and Claire, which gave me a lot of confidence, and I'm very happy at that. Began, and first thing I did was obviously find more material to put onto the new section of the website, and Claire gave me another task of, it links back to another task I did in the past where I had to update previous events, and the event that I had to update on, which happened last year, was Games Eden. So I had to obviously familiarise myself with what the event was about. So I looked back, and after reviewing everything, I used that information to write more detail in terms of like what exactly happens in the event, what the structure is, how it's run, what you do at the event. So obviously it's linked to games because it's called Games Eden, and you have a lot of gamers come in and come up with a new concept of a game, and just talk about gaming in general. So a lot of gamey kind of technical game nerds come in the event. And then once I completed that task, I had to spell check, grammar check, and punctuation check another bunch of leaflets which was sent to Kat, and she asked me to just double check on all the spelling and stuff because there was a designer in France who sent her a couple of leaflets, and Kat didn't have enough time to look over it herself, so she allocated the task to me, and I completed that. And then after that, I had to update the Expo logo, and once I completed that, I put it onto the database, and yeah, that was basically what I did this week. On top of that, we had a new intern join the business. Her name is Lisa Marie. Yeah, a very, very nice character. I get the feeling I'm going to be working with her quite a lot over the coming weeks, especially towards the beginning of the Creative Front Futures event, which is in 2 weeks' time. So hopefully, myself and Lisa can connect, and yeah, hopefully we can do well together, and yeah. This week has been so frustrating. Literally every day of this week, all I have been doing is use agility and cut up all of the passes that every speaker, staff member, and delegate will need at the Creative Front Futures event. Every minute, just put the paper there, slice it up, rotate it, slice it up, put it to the side. It took so long. I'm not even joking, it took every day. There was so much. The pile was, no exaggeration, this big. Oh, oh man, I'm never using agility ever again, man. It was so frustrating. Like, fair enough, Kat and Claire aren't the one. Really, they're not the ones who are going to do it, because they've got other important tasks, and like they've got to make phone calls to double check if everything's in place. Oh man, it was just so frustrating. But it had to be done yet again. Like, when you're working for a business, you're going to start at the bottom, right? And you have to work your way to the top. And I know I'm only there on work experience, but this is something that will happen in the real world, and that's what I thought of after I came back home that week on the last day of this week. And yeah, obviously, like when you start working for a new business and when you step out there in the world of work, you're not gonna straight away be working on, like, just making the phone calls and organizing this, and you're gonna have to start from the bottom, and you're gonna have to do these kind of tasks to work your way to the top. So it was a good learning lesson. It was a good lesson for me, but it was I'm not doing it again. I really But yeah, I don't know what to say, but you're gonna have to come through these kind of things in life, and you're just kind of gonna have to accept it and get on with it, and look beyond it, and just keep on persevering until you eventually reach the end of the finishing line. It has been the best week. I mean, literally. Um, I just come back. I've just come back from the Creative Front Futures event, and it was fantastic from start to finish. And last week when I was thinking, oh, what am I doing, cutting all these passes and vice versa, look how nice they turned out. I mean, seriously, look at that. Yeah, I was a staff member today. My task today was just to welcome people coming into the building with the help of volunteers helping out for the event. Ask them for their name, and we had a table. We had a sheet of, we had a document that we were looking through, and we would find their names, and then it would say whether they're just attending for the event, whether they're a delegate, a speaker, vice versa. So then, accordingly, we had already categorized which passes are for which set of people. So we had a delegate a container where we had all the passes for the delegates, and same for the speakers and various other sets of people. And yeah, that's what my task was for the whole day. And although it may seem quite boring, but I met a lot of people, some which were students already at Anglia Ruskin, and then afterwards I did attend a few master classes, and they were very, very insightful in terms of how the real world is. I mean, some people already are aware of how difficult it will be, but they told us to just basically be yourself, and don't be so like scared or nervous about it. I mean, we're living in a world where you have to be competitive and confident, and you have to just stand out. And you won't stand out by copying what other people are doing already. So, for example, when you join a group of people, you tend to become like them. So myself, I try to make sure when I first started work experience at Creative Front, I wanted to make my personality shine through, and that was one of the that was one of the things that that a lecturer was speaking about. You should be able to live what you believe and don't live what you believe and don't compromise your values. That one quote, I mean, really, I'm going to take that throughout my. I'm going to be preaching that quote. I mean, it was a really really beautiful quote, because some people, when they go into the world of work, they lose their personality, they lose what they believe in, they change their values, and that's something that you shouldn't do. I'm not going to be preaching anymore, but this week, today in particular was fantastic. Beforehand, uh, prior to the event, myself, Lisa Marie, we had to check everything was ready to load up into the taxi for us to take to the venue in preparation for the next day, which was today. Once we got there, we set up the tables, the chairs, the stalls, and we made goodie bags for everyone that will be at the event tomorrow. Basically today. Um, yeah, that was very very. It took so long, but we had a station per person, so there was like 6 different sheets of paper that we had to put into each goodie bag on top of on top of a magazine with a pen and various other things, and it was very efficient. After that, what we did was what did we do after? Yes, we were just basically checking whether all the speakers have had their cards cut out. So obviously that was my task because I was the one who cut it up last week. So I had to just double check so that nothing happens for the actual event. And thankfully, nothing bad happened. It went smoothly. Food was delightful. I love my food. Sorry. And yeah. And today was basically my last day of working, and looking back at the whole experience, it has really given me a beautiful insight into what the creative industry is like. I mean, I'm not a very creative person myself in terms of like being innovative with a certain product and making it bigger, but prior to starting work experience, I mentioned earlier in my um, video diary that I really wanted to know what the world of the events side of things is like, and wow, it is so much work. Really, I mean, the amount of detail that goes into this is shocking. I mean, hats off to Claire and Kat. They must have gone through a lot to make sure that the event ran smoothly, and it really did, really. So, I mean, communication is such an important part, because if you don't, if I had not let Kat know that I have finished the passes, then another task wouldn't have. It's just basically just got to communicate with others in your team, because it just makes sure that everyone is aware of what's happening, and even if it's um, the littlest things, it's the little things that count. Detail is so important. And yeah, it's been a good experience. Obviously, there were times where I was thinking, what am I doing here? I mean, the tasks I was getting, I could have done at home, or they could have given it to someone else. But I've learned my lesson. You have to just face the facts. You have just got to do what you're given, to just basically show the attitude that you're willing to learn, that you're willing to do anything in order to do well. And it has changed my uh, what's the word? My insight into the events side of things, and it has helped me. I think it has really really helped me, this experience, and it was, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be launching events soon, hopefully through university, obviously through the society that I work for, and this experience, this placement has really will help me to organise events much more smoothly, and yeah, it's been really really good. Thank you.